Yo, what it is, YouTube? Is your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. We're gonna be doing the dope vocal preset for a legendary singer, Trey Songz, who I always loved his vocal sound, and I want to break it down. Don't forget to in the comments, let me know what your favorite Trey Songz song is. Okay, and don't forget to also join the channel membership where we have exclusive presets, exclusive shorts with audio examples, as well as exclusive courses, super in-depth videos that I go super in-depth about more gems. Okay, so if y'all like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I had one of my friends try to do their best impression of Trey Songz, and the song is called Circles, which is off one of like the last albums he put out.
Words are here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back at square one.
Let's look at what it sounds like without the preset.
Words are here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done?
Okay, great. It's that great modern presence that we love that's associated with the hits, the clarity in the vocal. You can feel the soul. Important. Whenever I do like a singing style song, I always use this plugin Split S. And I'm not gonna lie to anybody, you gotta use this plugin. It's almost mandatory because a lot of times on Trey Songz songs, the engineer would go in there. This is for any typical mainstream song. They go in there and they actually clip gain down the S's and stuff like that. They actually would go in there and be like, okay, that's an S. Let me pull that down. So the great thing about that is you have a plugin like this, which will do that for you automatically, and it makes the vocal smoother.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done?
Perfect, okay? So let's look at the first plugin being the Shep 73. Definitely with the Trey Songz, his vocals are very romantic. He be singing the type of tracks that fit for any time in a relationship. At the beginning of the relationship, in the middle of it, or the end. He's got a track for every moment of a relationship. And Trey Songz, the Shep 73 works because it has that transformer warmth, which is almost like a seductive thickness, and as well as the transistors, which are very smooth and flirtatious in the top end.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back at square.
So it just brings a creamy almond milk style richness. Then we have this DSER.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back at square.
So the DSER is only working casually, and I would super advise when you are using R&B to kind of avoid using the high filter, the high shelf sidechain, because there's still going to be a lot of clarity and like everything above the crossover frequency that you want to keep. So usually I just use the notch on R&B. With rap, I kind of know that I can get away with it because usually rappers are rapping a little bit faster, right? So you can get away with that kind of like pumping sound of a DSER, and I would use like a shelf on rap, but mostly almost 95% of the time on R&B, I use like a notch, and the split S together to keep my vocals smooth with a good amount of de-essing, but not over pumping. Then we have the vocal preset, not pop vocal, but the vocal preset from C4, which just kind of keeps the vocal in its place. It's like we're playing hide and seek, or it's kind of putting the vocal almost on timeout, putting it in a corner and standing, hey, stand there, stay there and be present, okay?
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back. Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out.
So C4 pop vocal presets were like high mid focus. This is just completely balanced. You see, like everything is just balanced. Like this is the perfect vocal balancer. And we were looking at the waveform too, and kind of identifying not just with our eyes but with our ears that this vocal needs some style of balancing, okay? And then the Kramer tape comes in there, and like how I said, is that flirtatious thickness It brings it in with the Kramer tape. That mid-range bump makes the vocals feel more intimate, and that's what Trey Songz is, singing about intimate stuff. So we have to make the vocal feel more intimate using the low bump of the Kramer tape.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always end here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back at square one.
So yeah, it's bringing the smoothness and it's de-essing the vocal. Then we have the fresh air. So the main thing with the fresh air is that it's just bringing that clarity.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back at square one.
Okay, so you hear clarity, you hear a little bit of that Windex car cleaning type of stuff that's going on, just a clear mirror and stuff like that. Then we have the Wavesuk Vocal, which is kind of like it just makes the vocal sound more perfect. Any mid-range discrepancies and low end, it's gonna get us just feeling really tight with the vocal.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back at square one. Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now.
Taking advantage of the RVox within this plugin. And then, that's just giving it a little bit more life. Then I use the Waves MV2 to bring out the low level details of a Trey Songz type stuff, and just all that talking stuff. The nuances, the vocal nuances are so important to drive across the emotional message of circles. Rebound. Heard you want me put it like down and shit. You feel me? So that's why we're using the low level detail and stuff like that to get the vocal to feel really concentrated, really focused, and just nuanced focus. That makes it feel like a real life conversation. That stuff is very important. Those small little details are what makes like a sculpture in a museum look dope, because the arm it perfectly has like the perfect angle with the perfect bone structure and shit like that. And the nose has like the nostrils and the fucking little curves and shit like that. Those small details add up to make the portrait of the vocal mix.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, back at square one. Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time?
Super focused. The effects are very basic. H delay on the quarter. Nothing to write home about. Basic. Actually the reverb is different because the pre-delay is super long, and I like that for a Trey Songz style vocal because he still has that ethereal tail, that little ghost following him. But it also feels very dry and up front because of the good amount of pre-delay.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out.
Okay, and then after that I use the R compressor and I use the gentle compressor. I did not pump it and smash it, but just a gentle compressor that can be blent back in, really gives the vocal a little bit of just a polish. I just feel like it gave it a nice polish, and that's why I did not go with a heavy ratio that would introduce a lot of pumping and stuff. Just something very smooth, very moderate, that will be blent back into the vocal, giving it that kind of gradual roundness.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time we say we're done? We always in and out, here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, same now. Spell it, do it, fill it.
So it's just that parallel compression that just lifts the vocal and not does like that crazy thing we all know parallel compression can do. I did not put no auto tune on the lead vocal, but the little backgrounds had a little bit of auto tune, something very natural for a Trey style Songz style vocal would do. But then we have these not necessarily ad libs, but just like doubled harmony, whatever type of things where we're not ripping off all this high end. We're just low shelving it, and this allows these background vocals to ever so slightly just be like a little brother hiding behind the big brother, which is the lead vocal. Okay, and then that Kramer tape kind of just helps slot things back in because it's shaving off that transient of these background vocals by being driven in through the record level and the playback level. Okay, and then last thing we have like an R compressor, which is just a gentle knee, but a fast attack though is gonna grab that transient, and that smooth release is just gonna hold it there.
Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down. In the group text, say now. Spell it, do it, fill it, and leave out. Why is it every time that we say we're done? We always in and up, in and up. Here on a rebound, but you want me to put the P down.
It's super flat dynamically, helps it blend back in. Then I use like a super quick plate just to give it a different ambience every time it comes in, but I don't want it to distract from the vocal. Then I use like this eighth note delay. You guys could change it to a regular eighth note, but for me, like it was blended in so low that I just wanted to give it like a different feeling behind the scenes. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the video here today. If you guys like these gems, don't forget that if you join the channel membership, you're gonna get access to dope courses, dope presets that I'm still making right now. Exclusive that nobody can get anywhere else. The courses and the short tutorials that have audio examples. So if you guys want to support the channel, check the links in the comment. Let me know what's your favorite Trey songs in the comment song as well, and suggest more artists for me to do. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot, YouTube gang. Peace.